Red Bull has been the dominant force in Formula One in recent years, but recently has had to deal with a lot of opposition from McLaren and Mercedes. That makes the various top teams look at innovations from the other with suspicion. Flexible front wings have been a regular topic of discussion recently, but Red Bull also recently complained about McLaren's brakes, according to reports. The team from Woking is said to be using extra holes in the brake drums at the front and rear. Teams use sensors to collect information about the temperature of the rims and tires, but Red Bull suspected that McLaren had created an extra cooling hole, which would violate regulations. According to the publication, the extra hole would give access to a cable for a sensor that measures the temperature inside the brake cylinder aerator. Red Bull's suspicion was fueled by the fact that Lando Norris came out very strong in Miami, Imola, and Spain, where he kept his tires alive better than Max Verstappen. Would the information from the holes and sensors help? The regulations state that sensors may indeed be placed in the brake drums during free practice on Friday, then the holes must be closed on Saturday and Sunday. According to Red Bull, however, McLaren's holes sometimes remained open during the races, but the FIA did not go along with that. The Motorsport Federation checked the McLarens and it turned out that the team had taped off the holes in Austria and Britain. Whether McLaren did so after Red Bull's complaint or the FIA's checks is not known. The fact that Red Bull has reportedly filed a complaint does show the extent to which the fight has flared up. The battle at the front of the grid continues to intensify. While the first Grand Prix races of the season have highlighted Red Bull's impressive dominance, rival teams such as Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren have recently introduced surprising innovations to compete with the Austrian team, sometimes pushing the boundaries of the regulations. During a recent racing weekend, several rival teams of Red Bull presented flexible front wings, notably Mercedes in Monaco, allowing them to generate more aerodynamic downforce thanks to a better fed tunnel. This solution offers a significant advantage by reducing aerodynamic load and improving top speed. Red Bull then requested clarification from the FIA regarding the regulations on front wings, but the Formula One governing body decided not to intervene. It explained that if these wings pass the flexibility tests, they are compliant. This response did not satisfy Red Bull, whose team principal Christian Horner reacted strongly. If this continues to be tolerated, we will have to follow the same path. This tense situation re-emerged recently around the brakes of the McLaren team. According to the magazine, Auto, Motor und Sport, Red Bull has reported to the FIA the existence of an uncovered sensor in the McLaren brake drum. Our German colleagues also reported the discovery of an additional hole in this drum, used by McLaren in previous races, which is prohibited by the regulations. Indeed, it stipulates that the sensors can be placed in the brake drums during Friday's free practice sessions, but the holes must be closed for qualifying and the race. Yet Red Bull reportedly observed these holes open during the race, possibly explaining McLaren's recent performances, with Lando Norris able to compete with Verstappen in Miami and Imola thanks to better tire management. As the tires wore out, the McLaren seemed faster, raising questions from Red Bull. As McLaren's advantage in terms of tire wear hasn't been so obvious recently, the opposing camp naturally believes that it could have helped in the past. Reports from different F1 news outlets, highlighting Red Bull's concerns about its rival's pace. In response to these accusations, the FIA checked the McLarens at the last two Grand Prix in Austria and Great Britain and confirmed the compliance of the cars. However, McLaren made some adjustments as the team covered the holes with adhesive tape to comply with the FIA regulations. McLaren's performance was visibly slightly affected during the last race weekend, where Norris was unable to manage his tires as effectively as in previous races. He was overtaken by Max Verstappen towards the end of the race, despite Red Bull's driver having normally less performing tires. Despite these adjustments, McLaren continues to make life difficult for Red Bull every weekend. The Austrian team, for its part, is looking to counter its rivals' innovations by requesting thorough inspections of the cars by the FIA, illustrating the current closeness and competitiveness in Formula One. The technological and regulatory battle shows no sign of easing, promising an exciting end to the season for Formula One fans. Parts subject to the commissioner's checks at every innovation. To avoid successive complaints from competitors that may have been experienced in previous seasons, the FIA has implemented a new procedure for introducing parts in F1. From now on, each team must inform the FIA of its innovations, and parts considered questionable must be approved by the FIA. Furthermore, each team must come with the list of new features during the Thursdays of each race weekend in order to be transparent with the commissioners who can thus judge what is legal or not. the Milton Keynes outfit is likely scrutinizing its rivals for any regulatory loopholes, especially given the increasingly competitive nature of the grid. Its latest focus is on McLaren, which has recently emerged as one of the teams capable of challenging Max Verstappen's RB20. Teams are permitted to install sensors in the holes of their cars during free practice to collect data, with the requirement to cover these holes completely for qualifying and the race. However, Red Bull recently identified an uncovered hole in the brake drum of the MCL38 during the recent Grand Prix. As per a report by the German publication Auto Motor und Sport, the team from Woking is reportedly using additional holes in the brake drums at both the front and rear. While teams typically use sensors to gather data on the temperature of the rims and tires, Red Bull suspects that McLaren has created an extra cooling hole, potentially breaching regulations. The hole in question is believed to provide access to a sensor cable that measures the temperature inside the brake cylinder aerator. Red Bull became suspicious of Lando Norris's impressive pace during the Grand Prix in Miami, Imola, and Spain, where his car demonstrated exceptional tire management. Thus, Red Bull complained that the holes remained open during the races. However, the FIA did not support this theory. During the races in Austria and Silverstone, the governing body found that McLaren had covered the holes with tape. The report further indicated that McLaren's improved tire wear management had caught Red Bull's attention. It was only natural for Red Bull to speculate that the McLaren team might have taken advantage of the extra holes in the past to enhance its performance. It said, as McLaren's advantage in terms of tire wear has not been so clear recently, the opposing camp is naturally of the opinion that it may have helped in the past. The ongoing saga between Red Bull and McLaren, as well as other teams, highlights the relentless pursuit of innovation and performance in Formula One. The balance between adhering to regulations and finding competitive advantages continues to drive the sport, promising thrilling races and intense rivalries for fans around the world. The McLaren controversy underscores the importance of engineering ingenuity in Formula One. Teams must innovate within the rules, and this case serves as a reminder of the fine line between legal advancements and breaches. Red Bull's vigilance in monitoring competitors exemplifies the competitive nature of F1. Ensuring fair play through constant oversight is crucial for the sport's integrity. As the 2024 season progresses, the McLaren MCL38 controversy will remain a significant chapter in the story of this year's championship. The lessons learned from this case will influence future car designs and regulatory oversight. The saga of Red Bull's scrutiny over McLaren's brakes epitomizes the fierce competition in Formula One, where teams continuously push the boundaries of innovation within the regulations. The back and forth between Red Bull, McLaren, and the FIA showcases the ever-present tension in the sport, where technological advancements and strategic ingenuity can significantly impact race outcomes. As the season progresses, it's clear that no team can rest on its laurels. Red Bull's dominance is continually challenged by the innovative strategies of its rivals, with McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari all striving to unseat the Austrian team from its throne. The dynamic interplay between innovation, regulation, and competition promises an exciting and unpredictable season ahead. Fans can look forward to more thrilling races, where the smallest technological edge can make the difference between victory and defeat. The ongoing developments in the sport underscore the importance of meticulous regulatory oversight and the relentless pursuit of excellence by all teams. The spirit of competition in Formula One remains as vibrant and compelling as ever, promising a future filled with high-speed drama and technological marvels.